Well, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Today is Tuesday, October. No, it's not October. It's January the 10th.
It feels like it, right?
It feels like October, especially with my Christmas tree still up. In case you saw that moment of madness, Walter is he thinks he's grown because he can control the back studio office also, and so now we have this power struggle for control.
What was
You
that?
know what? John's close enough he can beat you up.
Oh my gosh.
You know what he did to me yesterday, John?
Go ahead. I don't even want to know. Do I want to know?
I'm over here and I'm angry because he sends me like 9 million pictures to try and put up into a slide 5 minutes before the freaking show starts while I'm trying to freaking eat my breakfast. So I'm angrily putting pictures into the freaking slideshow, eating, and then all of a sudden I hear nothing other than hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. And I was like,
I
yeah,
don't even
whatever.
have any slides today because I've been just this morning has been hectic for me. So
Then I finally, and he's laughing, and he's like, she doesn't think we're on the air yet, but we are. And I was like, what? And then I looked up, and sure enough, we were on the air.
That's right.
this world is crazy right now. So this morning, as I was telling you before we got on the show, Sandra, I had somebody feverishly calling me over and over, and I kept sending them the voicemail. And finally, I said, this must be something extremely important, right? So finally, I said, how can I help you? And they go, oh, well, and a guy, I can barely understand him. He says, I'm calling about your electrical panel. I need the model and the date. And I'm like, how did you know I had a problem? He goes, I'm reading your email. I said, the email where it says the model and the date, that email? And he goes, oh, I see it now. I said, so you've called me repeatedly and you already have the information. I said, send me an email. You know what he sent me an email just now saying? Hey, John, I'm sorry about this morning. Can you provide me the model and the date of the panel? I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. Is it?
Is that sounds like a CEC meeting run by James Byers?
Oh my gosh, this is just ah! Ah!
All right, so I don't know, Walter. I don't know if you saw the thing that I sent to you and Miss Patty or not, but I sent you guys a like 3-minute voice recording. And Alex and I are trying to troubleshoot my computer. We're sitting here, we're trying to figure it out because if you watched the show yesterday, you saw we're having all sorts of technical difficulties on my end only. So we're running scans. He's like, maybe we need to try this, we need to try that. And he goes, look, there's a phone call on your on your regular phone, and it says political call. And I was like, whatever. And it did. It just said political call, and it was like an 866 number. And so he answered it, thinking that Walter had somehow figured out how to call me with it being funny.
Number, but go ahead.
So then the guy identifies himself. I'm going to pull up the website because you guys are going to love this. Here we go. Oh. Hold on. Where'd the website go, Alex?
We're holding.
You are.
That's my favorite when someone's in a hospital. He's not out of the woods yet, but he's holding his own. Well, why was he in the woods, and what is he holding of his own?
Yes.
It's not going. Hold on. I guess I gotta hit .org, huh?
Here we go. www.teapartyexpress.org.
There we go. Okay, I got it. Oh wait, I forgot the E. I was like, it disappeared, Alex. I found it. Okay, for real this time. All right, now you can see it. This is my life. Okay. So, as you guys know, the real Tea Party, the Montgomery County Tea Party, they are a paid a paid advertisement of ours. So this group, the Tea Party Express, calls, and so we're like, Alex and I are immediately looking at each other. We're like, are you freaking kidding me right now? So he's like, what? Hey, boss, what'd you say your email, your website was? And the guy's like, teapartyexpress.org. So I type it in, and we're recording the conversation after he said he was with the Tea Party Express. Never even heard of this. So now it says right here, 2022 endorsements. They've talked about Kevin McCarthy on here. So Alex starts asking the guy questions. He can't answer any of them. He's like, how come you haven't endorsed since 2016? He's like, oh, that's got to be a typo, yo. Like it was.
Yo.
And we were just dumbfounded by this.
Dude, hey, John, this is actually, is this the Tea Party that Kristen Chris created? No, she's not that good, but yeah, how funny that they endorse Kevin McCarthy as the largest grassroots Tea Party political action committee is thrilled to once again announce its endorsement for longtime conservative Republican minority leader and Kevin McCarthy in California's 20th district, because that's his third. He was in the 22nd, 23rd, and 20th. Speaker of the House, blah, blah, blah.
So I've never heard of Tea Party Express. Now here's something that I just saw this right now. Walter, I don't know if you can see this. Does the name Corey Mills ring any bells for you?
Well, so here's where we could go with us on this, Sandra, and John can back me up on this. So the Tea Party or the Republican Voters PAC of Texas or whatever douchebag organization you want to call it, they physically will endorse a couple of good candidates so that they can make sure they look legitimate. But they got Kevin McCarthy on there. They got a whole bunch of other people. They got Joe Kent on there. We were up in Joe Kent's district up there in Washington State. He lost to a Democrat because Kevin McCarthy worked against him. So some of the people that were on this political ad that of endorsements, Kevin McCarthy specifically worked against. It doesn't show Tony Gonzalez on there, does it?
You know what? Let me scroll through this. I did laugh.
I'm scrolling. You laugh. I'm scrolling. Go ahead.
Okay, because you're gonna scream. So John, we're running all over your show really fast, and I apologize.
It's okay. Y'all just keep going. I got this. We're good.
So we were talking yesterday, Walter and I were, and of course you guys know one of our most favorite subjects right now is George Santos. We've talked about him. We've talked about the conversations we've had with him. Well, here's where it gets even better. So yesterday there was a CBS report about, I think they were the first ones that broke it. It may have been MSNBC is who I saw first. It doesn't matter. Walter sent it to me. And our former, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Our former campaign consultant, the one that we fired immediately after we went to Washington, D.C., guess who he works for? George Santos. Are you ready for this? Now, here's where it gets even better. So reportedly, I'll be fair, a staffer was using the name of Kevin McCarthy and claiming that he was one of his chiefs of staff to raise money. Walter, who did our former campaign consultant say that he had close connections with?
Which one? You talking about Kevin McCarthy? You talking about Paul Gosar? You talking about who was the other one? They threw a whole slew of them out. We went up there and it was all these freaking kids under the age of 20 or 30 that ain't never served a day in the military their whole entire life, and they're telling us how DC runs and how I'm the biggest fundraiser, blah blah blah, whatever. And just freaking, you feel the set. I'm like, dude, I'm at that time I was almost 50, and I'm like, listen, I'm almost 50. I ain't got time for this kind of crap. Y'all seen my.
You could feel the STDs crawling all over them.
Yeah, well, they weren't crawling on me, but they could literally. They felt the man juice. I can tell you that right now.
The room was buzzing, but it was because the STDs were trying to run all over.
Yeah, it was like, wow. Yeah.
On the wrong
Okay.
Patty, it's not me today. It's not me. I'm being quiet, being
she
good.
She has been an instigator these last few days. She is. I thought we were going to. In fact, I think Simon yelled at Miss Patty the other day.
He sure did. And hey, Tony Cabrera the third. Actually, I think Tony's in California. So here's the best part: if Biden gets impeached, do you think the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, would make a good vice president? Good question. No. Hey, I need to take this call real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, they had. I heard somebody on the deal the other day. I'm trying to remember who it was. They said, this is a very important vote for the Speaker of the House because he's second in charge behind the president. That's not true. He's not second in line behind the president. The vice president is, right? I mean,
But that's,
if I remember my
I
civics.
guess it's second, yeah.
Yes.
But like if it's the president and then the first one behind the president is the vice president and then the second person behind the president is
it didn't make any sense.
You know what, this is why Common Core math is important, because without it we would be lost being able to talk to the younger generations.
Well, yeah. Well, let's get to all that garbage at the end of the show. I do want to talk about things going on this big blue marble hurtling through space right now, if that's okay with you.
You know what? Since our just so y'all know, hold on before you start, John. Walter is all fired at y'all.
Oh, he is. He is. He called me this morning, and I think the only word I got to say was hello.
That I've spoken to him 3 times and that's all I've been able to say.
Yeah, he is fired up today. So it's supposed to be my show, but I suspect when he gets back it's going to be his show today, which I'm fine with. But let's at least get through some substantive stuff for people to know what's happening in this world, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
So on the international front, China and Russia are doing joint military drills in the Indo-Pacific. And with China staging more combat drills around Taiwan, things are looking pretty bleak. There's 50 warships. There's warplanes. There's 4 naval vessels in that area. And so Germany and Lithuania have now sent delegations to Taiwan to discuss defense as the threat from China intensifies. So that's interesting. And if you think you're having a bad day right now, Sandra, just be thankful that you're not Li Kang Wang, who, besides having just a really unfortunate name, in 2019, Mr. Wang appeared on 60 Minutes and claimed to be a Chinese spy with direct knowledge of Chinese clandestine activities in Hong Kong and Taiwan. He defected to Australia, but has been denied asylum and now faces deportation back to China. So I think they're being hard on Wang. But this case is pretty bizarre. China claims that Mr. Wang is wanted for fraud in China, and there is also a fraud case against Mr. Wang in Australia. But what is strange is when Mr. Wang made the claim that China was attempting to get a Chinese agent elected to the Australian Parliament named Bo Nick Zhao. Weeks later, Zhao was found dead in a hotel room after he told the Australian Security Intelligence Organization that he had indeed been approached to run for Parliament and offered financing by a Chinese government operative. So it seems like Wang was being upright. What do you think?
Well, the first thing that came to mind is an old movie, and it was called The Spy Who Shagged Me. And so I wonder if Mr. Wang had that starring role. I don't know that we are I don't know that we're being too hard on Mr. Wang. But he certainly is not making a great case for himself walking around screwing everybody he sees.
Well, he's spewing information everywhere for sure, so that's good. So on the national level, let's go on the national level. So that made me forget my slide here.
Okay, hold on. So Miss Patty yells that she's taking notes at us. And then Simon says Miss Patty is great, but she can make a grown man blush. And now Simon is chastising the group. I think he's fighting for position of the principal.
Yeah. Well, Democrats in Florida were so demoralized that the Democrat Party chair, Manny Diaz, has resigned. He's citing a lack of resources and energy in the Democrat Party in Florida, says you can't build a party without resources. So I think DeSantis has done a pretty good job of totally demoralizing the Democrats in Florida.
Good for him.
Good. What do you think, Sandra?
I think that's fantastic. And I'm not hinting at any presidential runs from anybody, but it certainly would be amazing to see that on a national level, wouldn't it?
It would be, and other governors should sit up and take notice. Of
they should happening. Maybe sit up a little straighter and walk a little taller, even.
Like Mr. Wang. And,
like Mr. Wang.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate.
He's not just here for a good time. He's here to.
There's so many jokes
go
here.
On.
Just move along.
Keep going.
I hate to shrink away from it, but I'm going to do it.
Hey, just keep going. That's what Mr. Wang would want.
Anyway. Now, I know Walter wanted to talk about. Walter wanted to talk about the House Speaker race, and I think that's a good thing to talk about right now. Let me see. Do I have it? Yeah, I do have another slide on that. So, one of the big things that just come out with the House Speaker race, which I really like, is this: House Republicans to vote on bill abolishing the IRS and eliminating income tax. That's pretty.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And they also just passed a bill to rescind the $70 billion in IRS funding that the Dems just passed a short time ago. So that's good. That's a pretty good start, don't you think, Sandra?
You know what? It is. It is. I will say they're putting up a bunch of really good stuff, but we all know that everything looks good at the beginning of the game. What's it going to look like in the middle and at the end? Are we going to finish well? Are we going to get to finish it all? The thing is, and we see this with what's happening in Austin also, as we're getting ready to come into our session there, everybody's putting forward their bills. They're saying, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. Some of them look great. Some of them look like a crap bag. But we have to wait and see what actually happens in these committees. We have to actually see what's going to happen, what's actually going to make it to the floor. How are people going to vote? Are we going to get full Republican support? And I'm not going to steal Walter's thunder at all by his favorite conversation of the morning. But when you have Republicans who we knew were actually Democrats, both times they got elected, voting Democrat for the very first opportunity they got, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, Sunday morning, the first phone call I received Sunday morning was from Morgan Luttrell, surprisingly. And he said, I wanted to talk to you to let you know why I voted for McCarthy. I said, I'm listening. And he said, well, we made a lot of deals with him to make the House more conservative. And I just felt like it was the best move to vote for him. And so that's why I supported him. I know that's probably not who you would want to support us, so I would have never supported him. And he goes, well, we got some really good stuff. And I said, okay, now, may I tell you, he's not going to keep any of his word on anything. He will not. And I said, and you know this from past behavior. When as Matt Gaetz pointed out, McCarthy says, give me a list of the people that are willing to work on these committees. And so Gaetz and them provide McCarthy with a list. And then McCarthy walks up to the press and says, see, this is why they're doing what they do, because they're asking for stuff for themselves. So the guy is not an honest broker at all. He will say anything to get in office. I said, Morgan, so you got to watch that. Number one, he's not going to keep any of his word. He goes, well, he better. I said, well, you're going to have to hold him accountable. But the thing I really need you to do for me, I really need you to do this for me. I said, if he goes back on his word and he tries to exact revenge on the people that opposed him in this vote, I need you to be the loudest, most vocal member of Congress against that, because this is the problem. Those people were standing up for the American people. The concessions that were made were things that should have ordinarily been done anyway. These should be normal practices. Allowing people 72 hours to read a bill, that's not unreasonable. That should be done anyway. Yep. One of the other concessions was that one person can trigger a speakership election. Good. That should have been done anyway. Limits on spending. Oh my gosh. Why shouldn't we limit spending? That should have been done anyway. So all these things, the subcommittee roles for the right wingers, that should have been done. And the weaponization of the federal government, that the investigation into the FBI and the alphabet soup people, all this should have been done. And especially the changes to House procedures, where you can't just slide pork into these spending bills and you have a term limit vote. All these things are really important. They should have been done anyway. I said, so I need you to be the most vocal guy about this when he breaches all this. And Mr. Luttrell said he would do that. Because I am concerned about what's going to happen to the people that stand up. Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, hashtag John's girlfriend. We need to see what's going to happen with these people, because this is the beatdown that conservatives get. We stand on principle, and then all the Democrats and the rhinos come after us, the big uniparty. And then we got people on our side running around that claim to be conservative, then going, oh man, I don't know what they were thinking. Well, what they were thinking was that they went there to do the job that you asked them to do, to look out for you. That's what they
crazy concepts.
And look, I face the same thing in this county too. You know this. I mean, I stand up on these principled issues, and then I got people that are supposed to be my friends who go, oh yeah, that John, he's a bomb thrower. Why? because I asked you not to spend millions of dollars on an air conditioner for a school without disclosing the bid on it? Because I asked you not to hire your wife for 6 figures to answer phones? You know,
well, John, you're unreasonable.
I know.
You're being a
and
bully.
Then my
Stop
so-called
it.
friends go, well, gee, John, you know, you just got to learn how to get along, go along and get along, and you're causing trouble. And look at us. Hey, look at us, grifters and bad guys. We're with you. Treat us nice. We're with you. No, not going to happen.
I don't know what they truly expect from us. Do they really just want? I mean, if we just sat back and did nothing, then we've all wasted every single ounce of time, money, resources, time away from our families. I mean, like literally everything, just to run around and play patty cakes. We firmly believe in this stuff that we're expecting our elected officials to do.
Yeah. We do, and we mean what we say, and we say what we mean, and apparently that's something that they don't like that in DC. This is McCarthy trying to convince Matt Gaetz to go along to get along.
Look at the way he's squeezing his arm there.
Yeah, he is squeezing.
Can he file assault charges on McCarthy just to stir the freaking pot?
Not on the floor. From what I understand, you could come to blows on the floor of the House, and you can't file charges.
You can't file charges. So when I make it to Congress, I will be wearing my WWE leotard underneath of my business outfits from now on. But y'all have to get me there first.
Did you see Rogers, the congressman from Alabama, lunge at Gaetz and Boebert while they were sitting there, and the guy put his hand over his mouth and pulled him back?
So
almost knocked a toupee off his head. I mean,
Simon told us
he shook him so much the tag fell out of the toupee and was spinning in front of him.
Simon told me to play the video that Alexandra Schelling shared of it yesterday, and I did, and it had an F-bomb in it. But it happened anyway, and I'm not sorry. I do apologize to Ken because we try to keep the F-bomb off of this network, but that was some funny shnikes, and I couldn't have loved it more. Well,
this guy that I mentioned earlier, it's a kind of a serious matter. This Wang guy, he is seeking asylum in Australia, and Australia has denied him asylum, which means he faces deportation back to China. Now, I don't know if they're going to kill Wang when they get here, but Wang's going to get beat. You can bet on that.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to get beat until he's, I'm sure, just black and blue.
Not going to be good. It's going to be hard on Wang. It will not be good at all. It's going to be really hard on Wang when he gets here. But on a serious matter, you know they're going to kill him when he gets here. There's no doubt about it. Which is sad. I mean, this is another thing. I mean, what's the incentive if you're a spy to come forward with information to help this world if they're going to do the same thing? How is this different? Look at us, China. We're trying to get along with you. We're sending your spy back to you.
What? You know what? Maybe Mr. Wang stuck his.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to pull up, John. There was a video that was sent to a group text message that we're in this morning about our dear friend Eye Patch McCain, and it was comedy gold.
I was going to say really, Wang had a deal with the Australian intelligence organization, but the rumor is now because they're going to deport him, Wang's going to pull out. What?
Wait for the next one.
Sorry. It was low hanging fruit.
Leave that wing alone.
Sorry, Simon. Sorry. Anyway, moving along. Let's get off of Wang.
Okay, so it's hard to leave it alone sometimes. Okay, so there was this video. I don't know who put it out, and the only version I have of it is really the graphics on it suck, but I think that you guys will still get it anyway. So you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna send it. Hold on, because y'all are gonna LOL. I laughed, and that was the first thing I saw this morning.
And I may have to leave.
I literally laughed until I cried. So you have to see it, even in bad Miss Patty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
now
sorry,
we're getting in trouble. You done hurt Miss Patty.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Walter sent me a video this morning, but he actually got he texted me. He's got a really important phone call that he got, and he could not answer it. So
He was very excited this
important.
morning about
Yes, so
about some accountability stuff that he thinks that we're going to be able to put in place. Wouldn't that be crazy if we could actually pull that off?
well, I emailed it to myself, and now it's Alex.
Uh-oh.
Make this thing open.
Open.
Yeah, no. Walter has he's got a very good phone call right now, so just say a prayer for him because it's good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. Well, the little producer is here. Y'all haven't seen her all year. She did not dress up for the show, nor did she do her hair. Yes, ma'am.
Can I have some goldfish?
Can you have some goldfish?
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask our Texas Fully Loaded audience. Should Charlotte get goldfish?
What?
You say.
She said you say it. You want goldfish?
Yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, y'all? Ah, Miss Johnson, no.
Yeah.
Give her a double helping of goldfish. She
Okay,
deserves
go
it.
get the goldfish.
You're still mad about getting massacred in the tutu contest. That's all.
Miss Patty said, watch your words, guys. Charlotte's here.
Mm.
She can't hear you, but she can. We are convinced that Charlotte has like a sixth sense for when she knows she should just show up on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things, oh gosh, you know what? Here's what we're going to do.
And I'm out. I got nothing else. So,
You got nothing left. Everything that I have was because Walter was fired up. And so, and then the one thing I do have isn't working. So let's take a commercial break really quick. Apparently I have to go and get the goldfish, and then we'll be right back, and hopefully I'll have this video opened. Okay. I might do the commercial twice since Miss Patty doesn't like the December commercial. We'll be right back. we are back. A huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, of course, the Montgomery County Tea Party, Skyland Companies, and our dear friend Greg Parker's book. You can find those on Amazon. There's 3 of them. You still have that Amazon gift card left over. I know you do. And if you don't, President's Day is coming up. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is coming up. There's lots of opportunities to randomly buy that book, even just for it being a Tuesday. Tuesdays are a good day to buy a book.
You know, at the Tea Party meeting the other night, you were there, Sandra, when I was doing a presentation on the Brunson case. And somebody stood up and asked me what I thought about Dan Crenshaw and Morgan Luttrell. My experiences with Crenshaw have not been good. I had high hopes for Dan Crenshaw, as you know, but he has turned out to be very thin-skinned and childish about things, and I don't like it. You know, going back to the young lady asking him about his quote, reading it back to him in context and him having a meltdown over it, then claiming to be a victim. Did you see his performance? I guess it was on CNN the other night where he was talking about, there you go, where he was talking about, well, let's watch the clip. Maybe not. When you load the clip, there's a box you have to check that says include audio because you didn't click the box. Are the speakers off? Your speaker off. You got to click on your speaker here. You have to go reload it, Sandra, and there's a box that says include audio. But yeah, he called the people that were negotiating for the American people terrorists. The Congressman Getz, Boebert, and the rest of them. He called them terrorists for asking for crazy things like being given 72 hours to read a bill before they vote on it. I know that's nuts, isn't it? Having a balanced budget. Crazy, huh?
Radicals.
I know, and it's disappointing because every time you say something about Crenshaw, everybody goes, "Oh, but he's a veteran, John, and he's disabled, and all this other stuff." And I have to remind them, Timothy McVeigh was a veteran, Benedict Arnold was a veteran, Sam Berkowitz was a veteran, Jeffrey Dahmer was a veteran. I mean, really, what is your point by saying that? What do you think you mean when you say that to me? It's all about what these people do. It's not about what they say even. It's about what they do. And I've watched Crenshaw attack and attack and attack. He makes these statements trying to placate the rhinos. And when you say something to him about it, then he gets real defensive and attacks you.
All right. Let's see if we can do it this time.
No.
No?
No, you're not getting audio. Let me see if I can find it. Is that on?
I don't know where it's at. I had to because that group text message that we're all in with some of our MoCo people is where I got it sent to me, and because I wanted a clearer version anyway to put up here. Oh wait, you know what? I can do it this way. Hold on a second. Alex likes to make me have to think. He got it open.
Hang on a second. Maybe I can do it. Let me try it. Because I got the similar one here. See if I got it now. Try this.
People call me terrible names. I'm not allowed to clutch my pearls when I get called terrible names. But I fight back, and people are like, "How could you, Dan? How could you? How could you, Dan?" Oh, they call me Eye Patch McCain.
I literally laughed the whole freaking time because the rest of it.
That did not make him look good, did it?
You know what? He got on that.
And childish and whiny.
He looked exactly like he did when he came to the Montgomery County Tea Party. But the best part is that he did it on national television.
Yeah, he gave a speech one night.
And glitter pearls.
He gave a speech one night at the Pachyderms meeting, and Jameson Ellis was there, and a table full of people that were Houlihan supporters also. And we're just watching the speech, and they didn't interrupt the guy. They didn't say anything. They didn't shout out. They didn't do anything to the guy. And he was very snarky and arrogant the whole time. And then when the speech was over with and the cameras were off, the main cameras, he walks over and they're all sitting there with their cell phones. And he walks over to the table. He leans over and goes, "Y'all get all that?" And bounces out of the room. I'm like, what a little jackass,
He's such a crap bag, man. The one that's really grinding Walter's gears, I don't know if, it's still pretty early in the show. We may still get him back, but Tony, we won't get a chance to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it right now, John. Tony Gonzalez is the only Republican. So it was him and Dan Crenshaw. I'm going to break it down for y'all really quick, but y'all got to hear Walter's version because he fired up, y'all. Tony Gonzalez voted with the Democrats about the new House rules.
Really?
So he did not want them passed. Dan Crenshaw only voted present. Or no, I take that back. He didn't even show up. So those two Republicans either voted against the Republicans or they didn't vote.
Yep.
When I tell y'all, Walter is fired up.
Well, and once people show you who they are, you better damn well take note of it, because you know who they are at that point. There's no mystery. And then they come back later and they pretend like they didn't, like that's not them. They didn't really do it, but you better watch them.
Well, what's funny?
McCarthy, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that people asked, or people got onto Owen Schroyer, and I did, because he said, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene still usually she's a good person, and this Kevin McCarthy thing doesn't make her a bad person, and yada yada yada. Here's exactly what I said yesterday on the air about this, and I'm going to say it again. We're at a point in our country right now that you better trust and believe we have to hold and scrutinize every single vote that these people make, because we are fixing to be on a civil war. And these jackwagons are going to be the one that send us to it. And you got Marjorie Taylor Greene siding with somebody who has been an enemy of hers since day one. And not just siding with, fighting for. You got Tony Gonzalez, who's never been a Republican. His very first vote in 2020 was against President Trump. Every single vote that he makes has not been for his party. But the problem is that the people in West Texas were too afraid to not vote for Tony Gonzalez and vote for an independent because, we might lose the numbers in the House, or what if we let the Democrat win? Well, you already let a Democrat win. Tony Gonzalez is going to prove that over and over and over again that you just let a Democrat win.
Well,
that way, when Walter starts screaming, y'all know what he's going to be saying. I'm translating ahead of time this time instead of after.
Well, I'm going to go and share my screen real quick. Going personal with you for a moment, relationships, Sandra.
Let's get a little
every guy wants a woman to look at him the way Marjorie Taylor Greene looks at McCarthy. Am I wrong here? I mean, they've been really close lately. I'm really starting to wonder if something else is going on there. The way every time you see them together, she's looking at him longingly. She's walking behind him, and they kind of going after this lady. What's that about?
I don't know, but I felt like we needed Walter's Barry White commentary music when you were talking about how longingly.
Hashtag John's girlfriend.
Hashtag John's girlfriend, the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene looks at Kevin McCarthy. I mean,
yeah,
it was appropriate.
What's that?
It's, so we had our assumptions when it happened so abruptly. I got an anonymous phone call from somebody in Washington, D.C. I'll just leave it like that. And they specifically said, just so you know, MTG and McCarthy are whatting. And I was like, figured. I say it all the time. I don't care what people are doing in their after hours times. What I care about is what they're doing for their country. And if she just sold out our country for a piece of tail, no, that's not okay.
Well,
at least she's a guy whose name is Wang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to not draw those conclusions when you see the way these two keep carrying on around, and keep showing up. I mean, it's hard to not
on the house floor.
And there's lots of pictures like this out there. I mean,
Wow.
what's that look? I mean, seriously. I mean,
What? We had made the comments that we were told when we were in Washington, D.C., that Byron or Donalds and McCormick were together, and we laughed when McCormick voted against Donalds and voted Kevin McCarthy. We're like, well, I guess that relationship's not working out.
well, McCarthy's been screwing conservatives for a long time, so why would you be surprised about him hooking up with MTG? I mean,
He has. I mean, let's be real. When she first came into office, he was heavier, not as attractive. He's trimmed up. He's going to the tanning salon a little bit more. He looks a little bit better. You
Well,
know, I
the thing
get it.
about
Maybe she had
McCarthy-
standards on how he looked the last cycle.
McCarthy is the swamp, number one. So
100%.
And so he has gotten himself in a position. Here's another Texas fully loaded prediction. It's not really a prediction, it's just an observation of behavior. All these deals that were made, if the conservatives are able to hold his feet to the fire and he actually does all these things, he's going to run around and take a bow for him. McCarthy's going to say, I did this. This was me. I led the way on this.
Yep.
Meanwhile, when the uniparty people are calling him, all the elites saying, what the hell are you doing? He's going to tell them, you know what? I couldn't have got Speaker to help you guys out had I not made these deals. I'm going to do all I can to kill him. So he's a swamp creature. I mean, it's what he's going to do. And we all know it. That's why it's important for you to get on the phone with your congressman and tell him, hey, be on the lookout, be vigilant about this, because as soon as he starts undermining all these deals, I need you to speak up. As soon as he goes after these Freedom Caucus people, I need you to speak up. That's the only way. That's the only way we make a difference, Sandra.
Well, you know, we've kind of been talking about the party lines, and we've been just so mother loving frustrated with the Republicans. Where are all these rhino lovers right now? Like the people who just have worshipped Dan Crenshaw and Kevin McCarthy, and well, Dan. Let's just pick on Dan and Tony right now. Where are all the people that have bowed down and worshipped them for the last 2 years, called us the devil for going after these sons of you know whats? And now we're over here going yet again. It's almost like we predicted this was going to happen.
Yeah, well, that was fascinating watching the House Speaker deal. That was the 15th round. He finally got through, and the only reason he got through is if you saw the end of it. If you weren't watching it, I'll just give you what happened. So the 14th round voted, and then somebody made a motion to adjourn. Every Democrat in Congress voted to adjourn. Since the Republicans have 222 members and Democrats had 213, it was a fait accompli. It was going to be adjourned, whatever the numbers are. It was going to be adjourned. So they started to adjourn the Congress, and then they were over there twisting Matt Gaetz' arm and yelling at him, and he had just voted present on something, I guess. And so the others, they did the math, and instead of needing 218, which they would need with 435 members of Congress, or 217, I think it is, with 432 members of Congress, they would only need 216 members voting for him if enough people just voted present and their votes weren't calculated in the voting totals. So apparently they made a deal with a couple of more members of the Freedom Caucus, including Gaetz, just vote present on the last round. So the last second, as the vote is coming in, Gaetz runs down to the front, picks up a red card, which is what you used to switch your vote. And he turns to the camera and says, we're going to stay. We're going to get it done. And so you knew he had already made the deal at that point. He'd already talked to another member of the Freedom Caucus to switch their vote to present. And that's what happened. They voted present. They dropped the threshold to 216 so McCarthy could get elected to House Speaker. And the rest, they say, is history.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what they did. And that's the games that they play.
So, Walter, was that your doctor on the phone, and is your gender reassignment surgery on schedule, sir?
My balls are bigger now. You have no clue.
Well, we're talking about, you missed the
we weren't
discussion
talking about Wang anymore.
Yeah. No.
We literally have talked. We have just put
We have
Mr.
beat
Wang
that
through
to
the.
death.
All I can tell you is
Good
this. It was.
I should have done that.
All I can tell you is this. I probably talked to one of the most hell-bent Texans you'll ever meet, and I can't say who or for why, but there's some good shenanigans that are fixing to happen. That's I think Texas is fixing to pull ahead.
Well, good. I mean, it's the same thing we need to do with our governor here. We need to keep our reps in line. And one of the things that I put forth at the convention, if you recall, was to have an accountability where our reps would present themselves to each county executive committee so we could review what the words legislative priorities mean, because they seem to them to mean preferences, not really priorities. And there's a difference. And so that was one of the things I want to do. And Walter, you had mentioned that maybe we get Luttrell and Crenshaw before the CEC. I really don't want to hear Crenshaw whining in front of the CEC and condescending to members of the CEC, because it'd be probably the first time our party has ever thrown a congressman out. But that's probably what would happen.
Well,
I would like to get Luttrell in there just to have him understand what the sense of the county is, what we want as a county.
Has he ever been? So he's never spoken at the Tea Party. He's never been to a Republican Party meeting that I know of. What, did he show up at a CEC meeting ever?
No, but we should invite him. If we had party leadership here, we would have already done that.
Well, and that's the whole reason why why they want to keep the party split, by keeping somebody in power that's ineffective and neutralized. Not only does his wife make money off the campaigns, but the party doesn't have to hold the candidate accountable. Look at every other candidate that comes to Montgomery County. What do? At some point or another, they go to the CEC. Hell, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick physically came to the Montgomery County Tea Party, and your chairman couldn't show up because he can't stand the people that are there.
Yeah, and he even sent that email out and said, your people are liars. Some of your people are liars and frauds and blah, blah. Yeah, it's the kind of leadership you look for, right?
Oh, well, it's purple politics. That's all it is. And the key is this. That's one of those things where you have ground rules. Look, Dan Crenshaw came to the Tea Party. He showed up late. A girl asked a question about something he said. He tried to spin it into something different with his little angry voice, and the people stood up and I'll give it to him. He literally took every pounding that came to him. It was like going through the crucible and all that stuff all over again for the guy.
Like Mr. Wang.
Yeah, they beat him down, but you know what? They didn't beat him out, and then he left. Okay, and then they spun it it was one of Jameson Ellis's people, blah, 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 whatever. Dude, that was, if you saw how timid that girl was, and she asked one question, and you want to know why she asked that one question, being the timid, shy, homeschool girl that she was? Because she's going to vote. She's prayed about it. She's learned to take it serious, and we the people are pissed. She literally only asked, what did you mean when you compare Jesus to Superman? And his only thing was, don't question my faith. She never asked, are you a Christian? Do you believe in Buddha? Do you not eat bacon because you're a Muslim? She didn't say that. She said, what did you mean? And that's where the political spin gets in there with all these guys in office. Look at how it goes. Tony Gonzalez, the only Republican in the whole entire House to vote with the Democrats. And the first thing, I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life. Dude, I'm tired of it. Pro-life is secondary to anything else, and here's why. Because that's a given. Let's talk about, are you going to talk out of both sides of your mouth, or are we going to hear this right here? And that's where we need to hear, because if you look at it, those pictures of Morgan are circulating where he's asleep, asleep at the wheel. And these guys ran on the fact we're Navy SEALs, we're hardened chargers, blah, blah, blah. Dan Crenshaw wasn't in the vote. So CD2 of Texas did not participate in the House rules vote. Are they pissed? Well, a little tidbit about our Speaker of the House that was just elected. It's reported that he hasn't had a town hall meeting since 2010. So in over a decade, his constituents of any of the 3 districts that he's run in have heard from him on an official town hall meeting.
Wow.
Lay that where it's at. You can't go to Congress saying I'm going to be a leader. You have to go to Congress saying I'm going to be a representative. It's physically in the name.
Well, you saw the panic set in when Boebert took a principle and Gates took a principle stand against what was happening. You saw Sean Hannity, who when Rush Limbaugh passed away, Sean Hannity lost his career because I used to watch Rush Limbaugh and he would always have insightful things to say. And I try to do that also. I try to look at what's happening and figure out what it really means, what's going on behind the scenes, what are we missing, and do a full analysis on it. And try and just play it out. And that's what I loved about Rush Limbaugh is he would do that. He caused me to think that way. And I would listen to Rush and he would give his show and I'd say, man, it really gives me something to think about. And then when Hannity would come on, I'd listen to him. And Walter, I'm not kidding. He would whine for an hour or 2 hours, the same points Rush made as if they were his own over and over, and why are they doing this? Why? I don't know why. I mean, look, come on. Why? And just, it was so annoying. I can't even watch the guy. And when he went after Boebert the other night, I was like, this guy's just pathetic, man. Instead of saying, Congressman, what do you hope to gain out of this? And why is it important? That would have been the right question to ask. Not, you don't have the votes. You should just vote and just do what they want. Not that, Sean. You're a moron, So anyway, just my 2 cents on Mr. Hannity right now. I don't really care for that guy too much.
Well, no, me neither. I mean, that moron literally told us, the one person who brought the Republicans to the 40 percentile range was Sandra, and he told her go raise $500,000, even though he knew every Republican was against her because she was not voting with McCarthy. She specified that in 2020, and she said it again in 2022, and the establishment said we can't have that. But here's the funny part. The establishment just got their ass kicked by 5 people. 5 members. If your guy voted with Kevin McCarthy on the number 1 vote, then your district is not that red because of your representative. The fact that your guy they may have switched and wavered. I'm telling you right now, there's of that 20, a bunch of them went up to 20, and the reason why it went up to 20 was because, oh crap, what am I going to tell my district? Because they were looking at it, those guys in Congress, every last one of them that held out for McCarthy was worried because it's, what if he doesn't get it? What if he's going to bow out? He's going to, what if he bails out? They didn't know. You saw the worry. That's why they had to get into the fight towards the end when Mike Rogers came in and got his face canned out to the back of the room. That kind of stuff doesn't normally happen, but that right there proved where we were sitting. And where we were sitting physically shows that the grassroots, we got Congress by the balls if we decide to squeeze.
Well, I'm not usually attracted to people with balls, but I really like Lauren Boebert.
That girl's got balls.
What's that?
I mean, I hate to say it, she's not transgendered or nothing, but I mean, hell, that girl's got balls. Her and Matt Gaetz held the line the whole entire time.
And I'm disappointed in Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she is.
I'm not. Did you see what she wrote? The reason why she went with McCarthy was because the Freedom Caucus was doing a whole bunch of stuff that she didn't agree with, that they didn't ask her permission for. And it's probably because they knew that Marjorie Taylor Greene had already sold out. And that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene doubled down on the first vote, just like all the others, because the Freedom Caucus was supposed to give, and they did not believe Kevin McCarthy. And they said, you know what? We're going to do this for America. They proved to America that the grassroots people, the base bottom precinct chairs, the baseline voter that doesn't like to get involved because of the nasty politics, they prove that those people matter.
I got to take this call, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
So anyway.
So no, you know what? I wanted to. We're kind of at the bottom of the first hour. So I want to take this opportunity to let you guys know about some actual marketing stuff. We've been hinting at it for a while. This is actually some stuff that we're physically doing. You guys remember that we had the Real Woman shirt and then the Toxic Masculinity shirt. They're kind of like the couple shirts. We're going to sell those. We're going to have a fun couple price on those, and then we're going to have them individual as well. If you guys followed my Sandra for Texas campaign, there at the end for the runoff, We actually had some really fun t-shirts and people loved them. Okay, they absolutely loved them. And with what's happening right now in the House, really in both houses, the state and the federal House, but especially in the federal House, because y'all know that's kind of my wheelhouse. We're going to be offering these t-shirts again. And guys, I'm gonna kind of zoom in on numeral uno really quick here. We're going to be offering these as Texas Fully Loaded t-shirts. So there's no more DC games, no more rhinos. We take back the GOP. Only we the people work. That's actually where our hashtag we the people work came from, was we're sick and tired of the nonsense. So we're going to be offering those. And then you guys, everyone got a huge kick out of me eating popcorn while we were watching Congress the other day. So the other thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to be offering popcorn bowl sets. So it'll be a big, huge popcorn with the Texas Fully Loaded logo on it, so that when you're watching your favorite political events, you have your popcorn handy. It'll come with some popcorn. So those will be up on my website, or on Texas Fully Loaded's website, hopefully by the end of this week. And then we're also going to be offering coffee cups and coffee. So be on the lookout for all of those packages, because we need you guys' support. We've got a lot of rhino work that we got to do. We got to get rid of these SOBs because they are 100% ruining our country. It's not free, and we got to be able to pay for it somehow. So I need you guys to go to TexasFullyLoaded.com, click on the hashtag We the People Work, so that you can help us out right now. But if you're holding out for some fun gear, it's coming. It's absolutely coming.
Yeah,
that's what she said. Anyway,
sorry guys.
That's what she said after
No.
Mr. Wang.
That's right. But no, so serious as a heart attack, though. No, that's that gear. It's just funny that I don't know. I feel like a crystal ball. At least our crystal balls didn't break. At least we still have ours. But anyway,
we need to see
you have
about
to look at the
offering a
fact.
Texas Fully Loaded crystal ball.
Right. Hey, did I miss any discussions on what was going on in 23? Did y'all bring that up, or do I get a rant about that?
Momentarily, but you get. I promised you your opportunity to rant.
It for you, Walter.
We saved it for
Sweet.
you. I went and got my popcorn, so go right ahead. The floor is yours.
Oh
Mr. Speaker.
man, listen. So the No More Rhinos. If you know anybody in Congressional 23, Tony Gonzalez was reelected by the mass majority of the Democrats in Maverick County when Greg Abbott lost. You can walk by the border wall. The fact that he's friends and funded by all these non-governmental organizations, and it's tiers and layers. There's tiers, TIERS. There's tiers and layers that is creating this invasion to happen. Right now with the Republicans in the House, we get to poke on some legislation. We have got to tap back into our oil and gas, back into our energy market. The basis of the energy market is oil and gas. Listen, the bottom line is, whenever you have people that want to sit there and they want to push the fact that oil and gas is harming the environment, I understand. But we've got the Chinese, literally the foreign terrorist government that repeatedly puts their people into a different arena. They repeatedly are putting their folks down. Whenever you've got 8-year-olds that have been working in factories for the past 3 years for a quarter a day, and they're being raised in a certain manner, these are things we have to worry about. And the fact that the president is depleting our reserves, our strategic reserves, they're called strategic for a reason. And the fact that those, just to keep the oil prices down, if we run the production like we did in 2017, 2018, 2019, guess what? You're going to keep your prices down. And don't give me that BS about how the oil markets, the futures are set by this and they're set by that. Understood. The bottom line is, right now we have so many wells that are not producing here because we're purchasing from Saudi Arabia. And here's the funny part. Foreign oil has to come here to get refined, and then they'll shoot it back. You're not going to see another refinery built in the U.S. because it's going to cost too much money under the current regulations they've got. And there's nothing wrong with the regulations they've had. The oil and gas industry, period, The oil and gas industry, period, sets the standard for safety. And if you're going to say, oh, well, they're failing, they're doing this, well, look at the federal government. The federal government is the minimal standard. The fact that the oil companies rise above the minimal standard should tell you something right there. And it costs more money to pay for a dead worker or to pay for a dead environmental system than it does to actually pull it up out of the ground. There's a reason why they're safe. If you go into all the rivers and streams across the nation, the EPA and the United States Army Corps of Engineers are the ones who are responsible for most of the pollution that's going on. The fact that the military takes all of their dead ships that they cut up and throw off up in Philadelphia, out in Maryland, out in the shipyards, all across the East and West Coast, those things right there, that's the federal government that gives those private companies the abilities to do that. How come the oil companies don't have the same thing? And how come the oil and gas right now, we had Snowmageddon that happened. What happened with Snowmageddon? The wind farms, they froze, they did this, let's go de-ice the blades. How much jet fuel did that take to put into a helicopter for them to go up there and put a chemical on the blades? What did that do to the environment? That's the kicker. Let's get back to Tony Gonzalez. Those people in CD 23 right now, that whole District 23 is a Democrat district. I literally have people that would rather, they're like, we need to get Pete Gallegos back out of the water because this Democrat's killing us. And I'm like, I spoke to a pretty highfalutin oil guy who thought Tony Gonzalez was a Democrat who was working with us. And I'm like, well, he is, but he's not working with us. So you know what? At this point, I would rather have a good conservative Democrat in there than to have a leftist rhino. And that's the problem. The counties, just like what we've held the line with, John, and here in Montgomery County specifically, look at what's happened. We've got the party on a frenzy. If CD 23 takes two-thirds of their counties, come together and they say, you know what, we're going to censure this idiot. That pulls him out of the party. And that's going to send a message to every Republican that screws up their votes in the House. This is going to bring the representative government back to the people when the party has the balls to stand behind the platform that they fought for. This isn't a bunch of nerds hanging out at a freaking convention at a state deal saying, oh, Robert's Rules of Order, Robert's Rules of this, Robert's Rules of I object, oh, personal point of privilege, all that kind of crap. This isn't that. This literally is, hey, folks, China is moving a whole bunch of illegal immigrants across that border. You're paying for it. You can't pay for the United Way to do their job down in Houston, Harris County right now, feeding the homeless because they're too busy putting all these illegal immigrants on the streets to be homeless. People didn't move here didn't come to the U.S. to live in tents. They could have lived in a tent back over there. They're living in a tent down here, so some church will come up and give them a McRib or cook a big pot of beans for them. That's all they're doing. We're not doing anything to save those people. Not a dadgum thing. This is where the parties out there in Congressional District number 23 need to hold the line like Medina County did. Put up a censure resolution, get the resolution passed in your CEC, and get it to the SREC by the spring meeting, and give it to the SREC. Because if the SREC can't react and can't enforce its own rules on Brian Christ of the Montgomery County Party, who's out here slandering people in emails. I'm surprised the party's not getting sued yet, but who's slandering people in emails, who whenever they sign their name, they're signing the Republican Party this, Republican Party that. You just invoke the power of the party in a lawsuit whenever you create some sort of stupidity in some dumbass email that you send out because, there's 30 of us against the 70, but we're going to make it sound like this because we're going to vote these guys out. I saw an email where a lady who was placed in by a majority of the CE was then told by the chairman who holds the party at the meeting at the exact same time in a different location, and he says, my meeting is the one that exists. And he has the biggest rhino attorney in the whole state of Texas that's been doing nothing but screwing up the Republican Party for the past 20 years. We got to get these morons out of office as our party leaders. They got to hold the line. And the fact that this moron was just as much of a fake Tea Party member back in 2014, his old lady is the one bringing home the goods, because she's got every rhino that has been criminally convicted, by the way, elected officials criminally convicted. They had to go to an appeals court for the judge to say you were stupid and couldn't understand that, so we're just going to go ahead and let it slide. obviously something that passed down from the governor's office. But, the fact that we've got accomplished attorneys that had to bend over and take it up the tailpipe because these morons want to keep their people in power. Just think, if we wouldn't have this type of stupidity, we'd still have Donald Trump right now. But these idiots made it all about money to them. Whenever you have old ladies putting in $5 and $10 a month, and these old ladies can't even afford a gallon of milk, and that's exactly what it costs. These old ladies are saying, we got to save the republic. They fought for the Ronald Reagan years. They love the Donald Trump years. Oh, he was rude. He was mean. But you know what? Good Lord, blacks, Hispanics had the lowest unemployment ever. Democrats can't say that. And for Hakeem Jeffries to sit up there and quote Galatians right before he says reproductive rights, i.e. abortion, his pastor at Cornerstone Baptist Church in New York needs to excommunicate him exactly like those people that will not let Joe Biden take communion. You want to call this a God thing? It's time these Democrat pastors stop passing the devil party's worship.
You said a lot, Walter.
Yeah.
You mentioned
Tony Gonzalez, censure resolution. I'm telling you right now, Tony Gonzalez's censure resolution, if it's not in front of the SREC by the spring meeting and you don't put the SREC, you got what you deserve. You voted for it, package it up. You can take it and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Woo, honey child.
Bring it, Walter.
I mean,
we do need to find a way to hold these people more accountable. And I think you're right. They need to go after Tony Gonzalez in his own senatorial district. They should censure him for his shenanigans. That should be happening a lot. I'm concerned that we're going to get Crenshaw again next time. That guy got 70% of the vote. I mean, this gives you an idea how uninformed electorate is here to elect someone like that.
Well, you know what? When the grassroots activists from out of state come in here and they post up outside the Kingwood Tea Party at Los Cucos down there, or if they're going to be at the barbecue place with anti-Crenshaw signs, I guarantee you the tide's going to change. The bottom line is every rhino organization down there in Harris County, all these rhino PACs that we've got, the Republican Voters of Texas PAC that was created by Brian Crist's wife was on the deal. That sat there.
Oh, they lie about that now, by the way. They lie about it. So that just tells you they know it's a scumbag, unethical thing to do. The way she pulls her name off of it and claims she has nothing to do with it now, even though she runs it every election.
Yeah, no, exactly. And where were they at this last election? The fact that you've got a lady who has cancer and is in chemotherapy, she's running around and she goes out there because she's a patriot, because she's a Freedom Caucus leader. And the fact that they're sitting there calling this woman right here a mother, a community leader, they're physically, Brian Crist's pastors should be ashamed because they've not talked to him. Whatever church congregation that man belongs to, because that's what he holds his toes to the line behind. That's exactly, and I quote, that's exactly what they're getting. This is why people walk away from the Christian faith every single day, because of backbiting liars like that. Brian Crist did nothing except for work with a bunch of rhinos that helped to get Donald Trump out so that they could push their agenda, because Donald Trump was exposing too much of who the rhinos really were. Bottom line. And here, where are we at now? Oh, we can't let him finish that work.
Well, he apparently watched our show, or somebody told him about our show, because when I mentioned on here that the Republican Party, local Republican Party, is going to lose the headquarters, he tried to blame that on us. He said, the party's not going to pay the rent. Well, first of all, I want our listeners to know something. There's 3 accounts that Republican Party in a county is responsible for. One account is a corporate account, and that is for all back of the house expenses, including rent and so forth. That's the chairman's account. Our chairman has raised 0 money for that account. The other account is the general fund account, which belongs to the CEC for Get Out the Vote. The CEC has raised money for that account, which Brian Crist tried to steal, and he has been using it for other things instead of what its intended purpose. He even diverted $20,000 of it, as you know, Walter, or some large sum thereof, to renovate a rental space.
Was that the Victory Fund?
Sorry?
Was that the Victory Fund?
Yes. Yes, so, which we're now losing. So he renovates $20,000 into Well,
John,
month rentals.
why are the candidates behind him? The money that was donated from Joe Ellen, the grandmother who could give her $5, her $10, the $500 from over here, the money that was given for the candidates, he physically stole it so he could match the carpet with the drapes. Guess what, dude? Hardwood floors is where we need to go.
Well, the rest of the story is this, though. I didn't say we were going to lose the headquarters because of anything we did.
Yeah.
The landlord said it. The
Yeah.
landlord notified us. And here's the rest of the story. The CEC is locked out of the office. So not only did they pay for this renovation, but Brian has locked them out of using the facility. So and so every now and then people see them taking boxes out. So they're moving stuff somewhere. Nobody knows where. And we're anticipating the landlord throwing the party out of the headquarters while Brian is pretending, again, like he had nothing to do with it, when it was all him. It's under his leadership.
And it was racially motivated. You physically saw his Me Award. He specifically left out Africans, African Americans, blacks, the whole bit. He was only concerned about the Latino vote because that's what they want. The RNC wanted for Texas. He didn't give a jack squat about any black person in the Montgomery County area. And guess what? We have a large black population moving up here. Guess what? Those people are tired of Democrats too. I think people are physically learning that the Republican Party of Texas was founded by free slaves. Then jackwagons like Brian Crist come in and feel like they're going to take it over and exhume their white power on people. They couldn't have people like Greg Parker running against Charlie Riley. And what did Charlie Riley have to do? Charlie Riley had to spend all that election money that he had in his campaign to pay for his criminal defense. Over $100,000. He was in the six figures to make sure he didn't go to jail for a misdemeanor that would have removed him from office.
Yeah.
Again, the highest paid county judges and county commissioners are right here in Montgomery County. We have the largest amount of growth, but we have more corporations and more of these developments that don't pay taxes, and they put it on the small person. And we are literally living in downtown England right now, 1750.
Yeah. Well, there is more corruption, I'm convinced, in Montgomery County than a lot of other counties. And, I looked at Charlie Riley's campaign finance reports that he just turns like 90 something pages long. I counted many thousands of dollars going to Brian Crist's wife and her Southern Heritage organization that's in there. She's getting paid a monthly fee by the campaign. She's getting paid a campaign fee. She's getting paid a marketing fee. She's getting just thousands and thousands of dollars. And you also saw Jennifer Eckert brought something up. One of the Republican women's clubs donated money to Charlie Riley's deal. And on the outgoing, then he's donating money to their deal. So there's this little thing going on where it's that triangle thing. You give me money, I'll give you money. We'll prop each other up. We'll make each other look good.
Hey, let me charge you $20 for a $6 chicken dinner.
Yeah, the whole thing.
A crappy $6 dinner.
The whole thing just stinks. And this is what we're fighting here right now. So James Byers, and this is the way they do things here. They do something really ignorant. And if it works, then Brian and his wife are around taking a bow for it because it worked. It was dirty, but it worked. Hey, it worked. You got you elected, buddy. Look at us. If it doesn't work, they go, that wasn't me. That was this other person. So James Byers sends out this email, and I'm going to get clarification on this because I want to make sure I know who to name in the lawsuit. So Byers sends out an email accusing me of embezzlement and fraud. And he sent it out to people, and it's out there now. Conspiracy to commit bank fraud, committed bank fraud with intent to embezzle, conspired to embezzle, and did in fact embezzle in county funds. And then, I'm not going to litigate the case here because I can't wait to get it to court.
Has he filed criminal charges?
I don't know because they can't. But he can go ahead and threaten to get it to court. You know me. I don't give empty threats. I've already reached out to my attorney, and I am going to pursue this. And if Brian Crist had anything to do, because his name is mentioned in this, he had anything to do with this, and he did announce it. James Byers did. James Byers has made up his own committee. He calls it an ethics a code of conduct and ethics committee. He's made it up himself, and he's the chair of it in his mind. We don't have an ethics committee in the party, and if we did, James Byers would be the subject of it, not the chair of it. So we're going to go after him on this. And if my lawyer says, hey, people can say ignorant things all they want, just let it go. But if he says, yeah, that looks like slander and libel, and you should sue him for everything he owns, I'm going to do that. And I may put Brian's name on it too. And because it's not just me he went after all these other precinct chairs and accused them of this also. So I think he has crossed the Rubicon on this, and it's ridiculous. When the county executive committee calls a special meeting, they have to petition it in accordance with our bylaws. It is the official meeting. It is more than enough people petitioned that meeting, and the majority of the party voted on this. And what they voted on was to take Brian Christ off of the general fund account because he was spending the money like water and not contributing to it, not helping fundraise at all. The money was for the Get Out the Vote effort on behalf of the CEC. That's what it was raised for, and that's what it was used for. That's what it's being used for. So, Brian has not a leg to stand on this, and James Byers throwing the words around like conspiracy and fraud and embezzlement. It's a good way to get yourself sued. And so we're going to see what happens. We'll see what the lawyers say about it. They may just say he's an idiot. Just let it go. Which we already know he's an idiot. We've let a lot of stuff go. But now they're just trying to intimidate CEC members into quitting. And
what does Brett Ligon have to say about that? Is he offended?
I'm going to schedule an appointment to talk to Brett Ligon as well.
Well, no. I mean, the reason why is James Byers is saying this stuff. He's not down there filing a criminal report. He must not have any faith in his Republican DA. He must not have any faith in any Republican sheriff. He must not. I mean, otherwise, dude, that he's actually physically put down that there's felonies and high crime misdemeanors that you're supposedly he's accusing you of. He needs to go down there and make sure that he's got his CEC behind him and file those charges, because it is irresponsible for him to throw those words around without the action. Oh, wait a second. You mean like Tony Gonzalez? Bam.
Well, there's a lot happening right now in the party here in Montgomery County, but the way it's kind of settled into, just so everybody knows, I know people have been following them on the show, is the Republican Party of Texas has basically said, CEC, you guys work it out. That's what they've said. We've got 40 other counties with the same ignorance going on in a county chair, so y'all just work it out. We only have 2 years in a biennium. We're about halfway through it. We don't want to deal with this. We don't have the resources and time. Our chairman hears that and goes, yay, I won. Look, I was right. Well, no, it's not that you're right. They said you're an embarrassment. They said you have a total failure of leadership here. They all want you to resign. They laughed you out of the room when you put your resolution up to honor yourself, and you think that's a victory. Well, it's not. And so we have decided, yes, we're going to handle it ourselves. We're the majority of the party. So we're going forward with doing the party business. Meanwhile, Brian and his little cabal have recruited people off the street and told them, you're now a precinct chair. Oh, look, we have a quorum now. And so these people are unsuspecting. Most of them have no idea what's going on. But they're trying to wrestle control of the party brand away within the CEC and just demoralize the CEC and make the party totally ineffective. That's their whole end game here, because they have to make the party ineffective in order to be successful with the unethical crap that they do in the elections. And we can't let that happen.
I think they're Democrats, period. Bottom line. That's what
I met with a gentleman the other day. I won't say his name, but he's a pretty powerful guy. And, he goes, why don't y'all just do this, this, and this? I said, here's the problem. They tell 40 lies, and then we untangle all the lies, and I have to meet with you to explain, and you get it now, right? He goes, yeah, I get it. I'm like, in the time I've explained this to you, they've told 40 more lies. And so it's just, you're on the treadmill constantly. This is what Democrats do. They constantly cloud the issues to you, constantly untangling everything. We can't keep doing this.
Yep. You got that right.
So I shall finish the game. I offered when Brian and his wife started telling people, first they told everybody, Walter, if you're following, first they said, well, y'all are under a different set of bylaws. So 64 members of the party met, signed a petition, said, "Hey, Brian, you're wrong. We're all agreed to be under the same set of bylaws, Brian. We've all agreed to it." And he goes, "Well, your officers and precinct chairs were elected under the under the wrong bylaws."
Yep.
So 64 people signed a petition. More than a majority of the party said, "No, Brian, we're all under the same. We're all elected. Our officers and our precinct chairs under the same bylaws, Brian." So he goes, "Oh, what now? Gee, I know. I can ignore those things and just pretend like it didn't happen. And now I'll just say John Boucher wants to be chair of the party. That's why all this is happening." So I put to the CEC the other night, I don't know if you're aware of this, I said, "Hey, guys, I will resign today, and y'all can elect another vice chairman if y'all think that's what's going on. I'm not trying to run the party. Y'all know this." And unanimously, they said, "Please don't resign. We need you here. We need your help. You're doing it."
I literally got text messages from like 30 people and little sweet, nice old ladies that I didn't know that they knew what WTF with a question mark knew.
Yeah, so I put that out there because, look, as a public servant, you are a servant. And when they asked me to do this and elected me to do it, I said I would serve. At the point when I think it's a distraction and Brian and his wife are out in the public forum lying to people, as they do, that John Boucher is just causing trouble and he's upset because he lost the election. I'm like, well, I lost the Boston Marathon too by that logic, because that's another thing I didn't run in. I didn't run for the county chair position. I ran for the county chair position once before because the candidate that I wanted to run and was supporting had backed out at the last minute, and we needed somebody to run. So I selflessly stepped up to do that, even though I didn't have the time to do it. But I said I would, because I figured I could manage my way through it and train some people and bring them up. So we have had to go on the other side now and train people and develop a team, which we did. And so now they're doxing our people. They're sending threatening emails to people on our side saying, "I know your name. Here's your first, middle, and last name, and I'm going after you." It's Democrat. This is rules for radical stuff. And so here's the good news. We had to have this fight. We had to, because in order to break the cabal, you have to fight the cabal.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the cabal on and let's break them and be done with it. And I am going to schedule a meeting with Brett Ligon. I am waiting to hear back from my attorney today. He's an amazing litigator, one of the top litigators in the state of Texas. And I wouldn't bother him with just anything petty. But it's about that time. And Brian is going to have to make a choice. Do you support this crazy stuff, or do you not support this crazy stuff? Because if you support it, then your name is going to be on the lawsuit too. If you don't support it, then you're going to have to tell Mr. Byers to resign for dragging the party into this mess and causing all this trouble, because Byers is going to be enjoined in a lawsuit if my lawyer thinks it's worth going forward with, or if he just says it's stupid, just let it go. We'll see. But I'm at the point where I'm not a very litigious person. I've never sued anybody in my life. But to defend the party and to defend the people in the party, let's go ahead and do it. I think it's about time.
Yep. People need to stand up, period. It took five consistent votes to change Nancy Pelosi's dictatorial powers when we were the party in charge, period.
Greg, I don't know if I have your email address. If you want to help me with this lawsuit, Mr. Parker, I would greatly appreciate it.
Look, I think Sandra's having did she have like weed gummies or something? Look at her eyeball. It's all fixed. Oh, no. You know what? The NSA just took over her phone again, her computer. Look at that. Anyway, hang on. I got one of these let me draw some glasses on her real quick.
I sent it to you, Greg. You have it.
So, oh yeah, send that one to me too. Don't be afraid. You know, and that's the one thing is, so when I became the SREC, I received 2 emails, and then from then on out, I was blocked from getting any more emails as the SREC representative. Period. And yeah, Sandra's not blinked in 3 minutes. We know this. She's got that lazy left eye, so it's kind of the opposite of those that we know and love around here. So, but no, seriously, yeah, seriously, it's a heart attack though, and that's the key thing is you know, these are when people send these items out. Period. That's when we need to look at what's going to be happening. Let's do a commercial break.
I sent it to you too, Pat. You have it now too.
Okay, we're going to jump on a commercial break really quick for our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
Sandra's still blocked. Sandra's still.
Well, actually, what I think happened is there's probably somebody got a hold of one of her allergies. I know it's that weird. She's got that weird eye thing going on. It happens every time. It's the Tourette's kicking in. She gets it every now and then. Poor Sandra. I'm surprised she hadn't jumped on her phone yet, but she will here soon. At least we're flowing and going. So. Anyway, well, John, what else is happening in the lovely world of Montgomery County, Texas, the nation, the world?
Well, I get messages from people all over the state, all over the country, actually, and I always have ever since I started this fight to buck the establishment and the uniparty here in Montgomery County and the reddest county in the nation. I've been on a kind of in the spotlight, really. You don't realize how far this stuff is reaching until I get this from another county the other day. It said, I've had several conversations with patriots recently where I discussed your name and the fight, that's going on. You're encouraging other patriots with what you're doing. Keep it up. The rest of Texas is watching. So other night when I offered to tender my resignation as vice chairman, I explained to the CEC, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be engaged in the fight, but I'm just redefining my role because, every time the other side sets up their little three-legged stool and you saw a leg off, they tell another lie. And so we have already taken every lie they've had away from them. And the last one remaining was John Boucher wants to be chair, and that's why he's doing all this stuff. So to say, okay, guys, I don't want to be chair. Y'all know this, but to prove I don't want to be chair, I will resign right now. I will step down as chair. I will just as vice chair. I will redefine my role as something else. I have no problem doing that. I will fully support whatever vice chair that y'all elect, and I'm with you 100%. And there were tears, and there were people really upset about that, feeling like I was pulling away from the party, but I'm not. I'm in this thing till the end. But there's some strategic things that you have to do in fighting this fight. There's some tactical things that have to happen. Don't do that, Sandra. You scared the hell out of me. Put a filter on.
Lazy left eye.
And Walter bounced her right off. I love it.
Uh-oh. This is like a bad Japanese movie. We need to do Sandra in anime at this point. Sandra?
I cannot believe you're trying to bounce me off my own show.
Hey, folks, do not adjust your TVs at this point in time. It is correct. The Bacon Master has taken over the airwaves. I
can still control the back office.
Hey, Walter.
And she's gone, just like that.
Walter, so let's talk about, here's something else local just happened, and I think it's a good topic to cover on the show. So a gentleman in Houston was sitting in a taqueria, relaxing, having his dinner with a friend. And in walks a robber Now, this guy had been sentenced to 15 years of prison back in 2015, I think, or 2018. And he was out on parole because reasons. It's Harris County. And they let him out. There was a gentleman who was killed in one of those robberies that this guy was convicted of. So if you know how the criminal injustice system works, somebody can rob a place, murder somebody, an attorney will come in, plea bargain it down to something like 15 years for aggravated robbery, from a murder charge. And then down the road, the guy gets paroled out in just a couple of years, and he's back out robbing people. Well, in the asshole cakewalk of the world, excuse my language, he landed on the wrong spot this time because he was in the taqueria and he's holding people up with his gun, pointing at everybody, menacing them, robbing them. And they're all giving him the money. And when he turned his back, a patron in the place drew his weapon and emptied his gun into the robber, Mr. Washington, and then walked over for good measure, picked up the gun, and then put the last one to Mr. Washington's head and pulled the trigger, and effectively ended a life of crime for Mr. Washington, which that's the best way to ensure that there's no recidivism. So there will be no paroling from the pearly gates or wherever he's going. Now, of course, I await the outrage mob because they found out the gun was either an airsoft gun or a BB gun, which as somebody having a gun pointed at you, you don't know that. And of course, they're going to say, well, he shot him when he was on the ground, already shot. Well, gee, that's too bad. I afford a lot of latitude for armed citizens defending themselves against career criminals who already have a murder under their belts. So God bless you, sir. I understand the gentleman has turned himself in to the police now and is ongoing questioning. No charges have been filed. There will be a grand jury assembled. Our panel of grand jury will come out and decide whether this guy went over the line in acting. But I think what they should do is they should give this guy a medal. They should give him an award. They interviewed the murder victim's family from the video shop or whatever that was robbed by this guy and where he murdered somebody back in 2015 or whenever that was. And they were obviously upset that this guy was out on the street again. But I think they were somewhat relieved that he will not be robbing or shooting anyone else going forward. So another good guy with a gun wins, and I'm happy about that. Now, my friend Austin a few years ago was in a pawn shop in Houston when two guys came in to rob the place, and Austin pulled out his gun, and he lost the battle, and he was murdered in the pawn shop. So you got to be careful about that. You better know what you're doing. This guy waited till the guy turned his back and felt like he wasn't a threat before he emptied his gun into him. Austin tried to take the guy head on like an Old West, and it was 2-on-1, and it didn't go well for Austin. He's no longer with us.
Well, no, and actually, we played a piece of the video clip yesterday. It's from the videos. It's very plain and clear. He fired at the right time. He also waited for a perfect backdrop on himself. He didn't want to get anyone killed. He didn't want to have bullets fly. So that was the element of surprise. The kicker is this: George Soros funded Kim Ogg's district attorney run. Time and time again, she won't prosecute voter fraud. She won't do this. She won't do that. The city of Houston, the county of Harris, has done their utmost best to create chaos. They defunded the police. Lena Hidalgo has. The mayor has defunded the police. While he puts police up on a pedestal, they cut all their programs down below. Look at how much artwork and bullcrap is painted on the streets to the same tune that they could be putting that money into new officers, to the same tune that they could actually have their officers doing the right thing. But they don't, and they won't. And so the kicker is this: this guy felt in fear of his life then, and there's nothing to say that as that guy was walking away, he wasn't going to turn around and shoot. So the jury, gone are the days of John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and Kirk Douglas from way back in the day. Those days are gone.
Well, here's the video.
Well, because you can shoot somebody, and all they've got to do is turn around and shoot back. So if you've got the bullets, you empty that sucker out, and eventually the police, the district attorney, the judges, and the people will say, you know what? You neutered our people. we're gonna neuter you. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. He's actually got his weapon. Has he got it trained on somebody? Is there somebody in that corner over there? He was defending someone's life. He was defending someone's life. There is no way that you can sell that to a grand jury. And you know what? It's a damn shame.
You very well could.
It's a damn shame. It's Harris County, and it's a damn shame that he has to go in front of a grand jury because the video, I can't even see why the DA's office is even going to throw that in there. But you know what? Hey, fine. You know, here's the kicker. Constitutional carry passed. It's got a lot of BS in it. That's why I call it constitutional carry. That right there is a clean shoot. That dude, you know what? And the fact that he went up there and popped it, again, he didn't know if that guy was dead. And the fact that he had body shots, until the police get there, if he's not a trained police officer, knows how to handcuff somebody, oh, wait a second. Citizens can't handcuff somebody. Bottom line, shoot to kill if you've got a gun. The gun is only for that. Beto O'Rourke was exactly correct. Guns are designed to kill things. Bam. That's it.
Well, for the clarity, they are designed to kill things, but they don't kill things on their own. Number one. Number two, you are spot on, but in the same breath, we always say when you see your shot, you take it. And that guy knew when to take his shot. Period. The perp's gun was out the whole freaking time. That's all that matters. The guy was armed and he was flinging it around. He was already aiming it at people. He was robbing the place blind. I trust and believe I'd have taken that shot.
Well, and you know what's offensive is this is going to be brought up in front of a grand jury, or let's just say it goes to court. The defense attorney for this individual, if he, and hopefully he gets one, which is going to cost him money. So now we need to have a piece of the constitutional bill that allows to pay for people to be defended, because it's the public that put them in this. It's the public that put them in this situation, and it's the public that needs to bail them out. You want to vote for stupid people, then you pay for stupid laws.
No. Don't forget. Hey, you know what they're going to turn around and say? There is gun owners insurance. So if you shoot somebody, you can have a little bit. But you didn't. Now you didn't get gun insurance. Are you hearing how ridiculous it is? Look at this. They're really pissed off at me again.
That's beyond the point. That's beyond the point. I don't have gun insurance, and if I shoot and kill somebody,
neither does anybody else with half a brain.
Well, and here's the kicker
because
on that.
Your Constitution should protect you with it.
Exactly, but here's the point on that. They're going to argue this case in an area that guess what they have. They're going to have a bailiff, or they're going to have a police officer securing the jury while they're listening to this. I cannot wait for the day when a defendant stands up with a gun, points it at the jury, and says, "Do you feel threatened? Because I did." Unfortunately, that's probably going to end that individual's life. But at the same time, until the court of law becomes like it is on the street, then we're not going to get what we want, because all they're doing is letting these turds out. That guy killed somebody or was a part of a murder 5 years prior, and this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
In another country, you know what would have happened to him? They'd have cut his head off, and they'd have stuck it on a pike pole out front, and they'd let the police come and get it then.
That too cuts down
Walter,
on
wait a minute. Hey, he was.
You think China? Hey, you think China's going to cut Wang's head off?
China doesn't allow you to have guns.
That's not what he asked. He asked, "Did you think that China was going to cut Wang's head off?"
Cut Wang? Oh, I didn't.
That statement make you cringe a little bit, doesn't it?
No. My question though was, did you say that the bad guy already had like felonies against him before?
Yeah,
he
killed somebody. Should have never had a gun.
Sentence. He had a 15-year sentence on an aggravated robbery that he was on parole, and that aggravated robbery, somebody was shot and killed, the store owner. So it looks like, I don't know the details. It sounds like it was plea bargained down to get a conviction, and then the guy ended up getting out on parole in a couple of years, he's out again robbing people.
Folks, let this be your lesson. It's very clear. It is the guy,
not the guy.
Clearly.
Folks, let this be your lesson. It's the attorney's fault. The attorneys that are in the district attorney's office that bent over for the taxpayer and gave it to him. It's the attorneys that are writing these laws. It's these attorneys that are running for office. It's these attorneys that are filing all these frivolous lawsuits. It's the attorneys that you keep hiring. And until we stop hiring attorneys for elected positions, or we stop putting them into these positions of authority within the party, within whatever power, these guys think they know the Constitution better than you. And they're the ones that are fighting you tooth and nail. The attorneys, and the attorneys voted against the Montgomery County Republican Party to get stuff done, because the attorneys in their executive session specifically put it out there and said, the state party can get sued for what Brian Christ is doing. We do not need to render opinion. Let them handle it. It's the attorneys that have no freaking balls. And the ones that don't have balls to begin with, they're the ones screwing you, because they're the ones that are friends with Kim Ogg.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we just got to keep fighting the fight. We don't have a choice, man. I mean, if we're not doing it, who is? And the fact that there's, these cowards who we just want peace at any cost, and Neville Chamberlain's among us. They don't win wars because they don't fight them. They just bend over and just, So I will not. It's not in my DNA to allow these sort of injustices to occur. It just won't happen. So we're going to keep fighting it, and we'll see where it goes. And at the end of the day, if we don't get justice, whatever, just the way it goes. We, the people, are pissed. That's right, Sandra. That's right, Sandra. I want my name on there too. John for text, or John Boucher or something, or
You just got to be cool enough to be the man that lets everyone know, hey,
Whenever I type something up, it comes up as Sandra.
Yeah. Look. Oh, you have to click on the right ones.
Sandra. See, look, I am Sandra. See.
Oh.
Sandra is however Sandra identifies. Sometimes it's a 6'3" Cajun, and sometimes it's a 6'3" bacon. It's weird.
See, I know what it is. See,
I
was always saying, Sandra. I was always adding real intelligent commentary. So Sandra went and reprogrammed the computer to make it look like she was the one doing it.
Yeah. You know what? We actually call that being a grifter. Sandra, the TFL grifter. The biggest one. Well, we've seen you eat your donuts in the morning, so it's just getting bigger these days.
We are all Simon Garcia. I love it.
Yes.
Simon, you need to be on the show, man. Come on. You're already on the show. You're a big part of the show.
He is a big part of the show.
Sandra's holding back on that. Sandra's holding. She won't send him a link.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Here's what it is.
Steve Bannon. What's going on with Steve Bannon lately?
I don't like Steve Bannon. I don't know why so many people give him credit.
Again.
Speaking of king of the grifters,
the consultants. The reason we're in the situation we're in is because it was, hey, I'm here with this campaign. I'm here to help. Trust me. Sandra is never in control.
Look,
did you say never?
Biden is a brilliant political strategist. Don't get me wrong. You may disagree with him.
It's Hunter that's the political strategist.
Strategist. Sorry. I said one thing. You met your mother.
Maybe he's been having quiet meetings with Mr. Wang.
Oh, he has. He's y'all heard of the tortilla slap? I think he's the one who came up with the Wang slap. Y'all saw his teeth, right?
Really?
You know what? The tortilla slap challenge that we did with Ashley is still one of my most favorite videos of all time. I'm gonna y'all talk to much. You know what? No, I lied. Did we do a commercial break?
We did do a commercial break. I apologize that you were. I apologize that
my own universe.
Yeah, that you were living your own Sandraverse.
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful place to be for the most part. Walter, you had sent me a video then about Project Veritas. I assumed you wanted it played at some point in the show today. So shall I play it and then you may discuss it?
Yeah, that one, and then after this we'll do the other one.
The president's behind there in this port of entry facility.
Port of entry facility. Make that bigger. Yeah.
Well, if I could, if I would. Hold on.
That's what she said.
I'm not Mr. Wang.
welcome to El Paso, the new Ellis Island. Oh, you got to use the bathroom? You can take a dump behind that car over there, like everyone else is.
This is not healthy.
There you go. So there you see it. They actually cleaned up El Paso for Joe Biden's visit to make sure the cameras were mainstream media cameras were rolling so that Joe Biden looked like he was bringing hope whenever he didn't walk on the street that has the actual feces from people taking a dump in the middle of it while they're walking down because they're coming over in mass exodus and mass form. This is exactly what Del Rio looked like. Sandra, this is why the water in Laredo turned to poop for several weeks, because of the 30,000 people that were sitting at the river. They didn't even the governor didn't even get porta potties in on time. What do? They walked to the river, hung their butt over the edge, and took a big flying flop right into the Rio Grande, and that turd ended up in your drinking water. Don't know how else to say it nicely.
They assured us that was not the case, that there was just some routine maintenance issues that they were having, and that it happened at the exact same time that millions of people were coming through the Rio Grande. It's a total coincidence, I assure you. Why? Because that's what our government told us.
That's what they told you.
We here believe everything that they say.
Yep. That's why Los Tres Park down there, what does it smell like? It smells like a cow took a poop in the middle of Laredo. Anyway, so hey, play my Tony. Play my Tony Instagram. That's the fun one.
Oh, I forgot you told me I had to look that one up.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
I don't do the Instagramming. Why couldn't you just put it on
because that's what my gram is. Wait till I get Snapchat, then I'll be able to snap it. I'll be all cool and stuff. Not
Simon. I'm blinking twice.
Blink twice, Simon. Blink twice. There we go. Boom. What are we doing? What do we got here?
Yes, Lone Davis posted something about the robber at the taqueria. She said he was charged with capital murder, but a jury found him guilty of aggravated robbery. So, right, we were right again.
Played it down.
And while on parole, he was charged with assault in 2022. And now, as soon as he got granted a PR bond, he hits a restaurant for a robbery, and now he is room temperature. So, good riddance.
Actually, he's most likely refrigerated. They've got an 18-wheeler for that now because there's so many dead people in Houston. The morgue can't hold them.
Hey, here's a great idea, Walter. Why don't you pull up your Instagram? I don't even know what my password is. It's not even saved on my freaking computer.
Oh, too much fun. Well,
I'm an old lady, and I know how to use Facebook and barely log into Twitter. Just only if somebody tags me in something. I can't. I'm not as hip and young as you are, Walter. I'm just.
I know exactly what you mean. Look at that. Anyway, so yeah, no, folks, exactly. Lon Davis, I'm glad to see. She didn't put that in the chat, did she? She's not watching the show, is she?
No, it's on her Facebook page.
Oh man,
trying to scope out new news, what's going on.
Hold on.
Yep. Well,
I'm still here, guys. Hold on. I'm looking at my password.
Too much fun.
Oh, I should have guessed that one. Okay. I apologize for not guessing passwords sooner.
You didn't guess the password sooner. That's all right. Here we go. We're gonna. All righty, folks. I'm fixing to make it happen here.
Thank you.
Go to the post.
Oh, it's for my water. Thank you.
All right, Miss Sandra. Now I have to figure out how to navigate back to the program. And now for the program.
With me logging on my computer, it said we detect a serious security risk.
Yep. Well, we already know that.
It's like, she never ever goes on here. Something's not right.
Yeah, the cartel literally is. The cartel
My
literally is
computer is
saying
now blinking twice.
we're not going to work with that one. Okay.
So tell me, guys, what's your take on Biden being there? I know that this is part of that video that we're looking at right now.
Here's the
Here
video.
it is right here.
Oh.
The room, make sure that everybody get a seat. Come on, y'all. Sister Lily may go back in the kitchen, cause when I get through, I need to eat. How much is 6 collard greens and cornbread rice, chicken breast, oxtails on the side. That's what I'm talking about. Vegan Underwood, get my business ready, cause when I get through, I need to ride. Come on! Dr. West, count the money, coming back and tell us what we raised. We had to find other people. I got some people there looking for. Hell no.
Hell no.
No. Yeah, to the no.
Yeah.
Hell to the no. To the no. Listen.
Here's a video I want to show you guys. It's a video of me picking on the swamp. Me trying to. What's with the music? Okay. This is a picture of us at Texas Fully Loaded attacking the swamp.
It like won't stop now. What's up?
Doesn't it feel like that sometimes? We keep poking.
Is it still playing for you guys?
No, I muted it. Walter, you have to click stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. Like
there we go.
There you go.
Hell no. That's right.
You would pick that song. I've never heard of that song before until right now.
Are you kidding me?
It's definitely a Walter song.
That's right. You know, back in the day when I used to carry my Barry White voice all through the middle of, when I was running through the U, that's right. That's how we rolled down there.
Hey, did TCU file charges against Georgia for that assault that took place yesterday?
No. What assault?
Georgia annihilated TCU in the national championship game. Their score had like exponents over it. It was embarrassing. Another SEC victory. If I got to crow a little bit, the SEC is the dominant. They always have been for the last 20, 30 years at least.
That's right.
And hates that, but it's just a fact. It was hard. What was the final score of that game? Did y'all watch it at all? Any of it?
Man, I didn't. I don't catch sports these days because they're all kneeling, and I'm like, man, they're bowing to the wrong god.
65-7, so it was close.
Woo! That was 2 points below just being a complete and total can of annihilation. They merely opened up a can of whoop ass is all that is.
Yeah.
So
here's some fun. Oh gosh, we have to go. It's already that time.
Yeah.
I do want to make a quick reference before we forget, because it did just happen yesterday. Diamond and Soak lost one of their members. Miss Diamond died suddenly. I did see something where she kind of took a little bit ill in November, but she ultimately she lost her life yesterday. It's a huge loss for Patriots, especially those involved in the MAGA movement. Our family, we're praying for her family and those who knew
Lynette
her well.
was a beautiful, funny person, and she helped to bring a lot of laughs and a lot of color and flavor to the to the grand old party.
Somebody had to do it, and she did it great.
And did you see all the NFL teams all on the field kneeling and praying before the games the other day? Gee, what happened? What happened?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing. Whenever there's a shooting or something, everybody, whenever there's something like this happens at a sports game, they want to pray. And then you have a school shooting, you say we should all pray. All the leftists go, your thoughts and prayers mean nothing. Take everybody's guns. You know,
Yep.
and we're still not even sure what happened with the DeMar Hamlin thing. I mean, they're not saying whether he had gotten the jab or hadn't gotten the jab, or they had some delay.
Well,
I just know there's
I
so
thought
many athletes dropping dead all over the world at record rates right now that have gotten the jab, but we're not supposed to talk about that.
don't talk about that. Don't talk about the jab because you don't know if he got it or not, even though the policy said he can't play unless he does.
Yeah,
Hey,
and it's like you don't know what caused that, but we definitely know it wasn't the jab. I'm like, whatever,
Yeah.
guys. You know.
guys, we do have to go. We appreciate you guys both. Charlotte is taking Walter's reign, and she's becoming a little foodie artist herself. So I've got a lot of fiber to eat right now. That's right. So we love you guys. We'll see you on the show tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Say bye, y'all.
God bless you guys. Take care.